family life. When writing about the law of association, I mentioned the importance of who you associate with in terms of its strategic effect on you. But there is a greater truth about your associations too, because the relationships you choose are not only a means to an end, they are also an end in themselves. All the success in the world means little if there is no one to share it with. Relationships, too, are both built up and torn down in the subtlest of ways. Because most people are not aware of the slight edge, the progress of their relationships tends to be a mystery. What makes a marriage grow richer over the years for one couple and grow stale, empty, and bitter for another? 9 times out of 10 or better, 19 times out of 20, there is no single significant answer. It's the little things, day by day, that add up over time to unshakable happiness or unsalvageable misery. You've no doubt heard the expression, it's the little things that count. There could scarcely be a more succinct statement of the slight edge, and chances are you heard it said in the context of a relationship. The remembered birthdays, the little gifts, the gestures, the kind words, the remembered favorite color, the 5 minutes snatched from an impossibly hectic day to drop everything and hear the other's news, the word of encouragement, the reminder of your own belief in the other person, the listening. It's been said that the most important statements of friendship are usually spoken with 5 words or less. That is the wisdom of the slight edge. Those tiny thoughts and gestures that are startlingly easy to do and tragically easy not to do. The future of every relationship you have, like that of your health, is a choice that is always in your hands and is no bigger than a penny. The key is to make the choice and keep making it. A special category of relationships, of course, is family. If you have children, you probably already know that they are in many ways your greatest legacy. No matter what the state of the educational system, the single most powerful influence on children will always be the people who raise them. Toss a rock into a pond, and you'll see ripples from its impact spreading out until they reach the opposite shore. The same thing happens in life, only in most cases, you never see those ripples. Everything you do is important. When you smile at a child and encourage him, or scold him and tell him he's no good, in either case, you may see the splash it makes, and you may see the first or second ripple. But the impact goes far, far beyond what you see. You don't see all the ripples. You teach someone to read 10 pages of a good book a day, and you may see how it changes her. But chances are you won't see how it changes her kids, and her kids' friends, and their friends, and their friends' kids. And as these ripples spread out, they grow bigger. For better or for worse, with positive impact or negative impact, even your smallest actions create a ripple effect that has incalculably great impact on the world around you. No doubt you recognize this description of the ripple effect. It's our old friend, the slight edge. Now, take a little time to think about the relationships in your life, and jot down a few thoughts about how you might work out your own slight edge plan for your deepening, strengthening, and enriching those relationships. This is perhaps the most personal area of the 5, so they will probably require some thoughtful consideration. Don't feel pressured to restart the audio until you've thoroughly answered a question. This is your life. This is the reason you're reading this book. What are your dreams for your relationships? Be specific and vivid, and write down a timeline. What price will you have to pay? What day and date do you plan to start? What one simple daily discipline rarely at a fork in the road? A point I now refer to as a day of disgust. That moment of impact we sometimes hit in our lives when we face our circumstances and make a decision to change. In that instant, standing there, sweating in the Florida heat, I came to a moment of decision. I suddenly knew that I'd headed up to here with where I was, what I was, and who I was. Something clicked. The tumblers in the lock fell into place, and I knew that I could never go back to who I'd been only a minute earlier. I knew that for things to change, I had to change. For things to get better, I had to get better. I left the golf course. That following semester, for the first time in my life, I got straight A's. I went on to business school and graduated at the very top of my class. Fresh out of college, I was recruited by Texas Instruments. I worked at TI for 5 years and went to the very top levels of the company. But corporate America wasn't for me. I went back to Albuquerque and started a solar energy company. And at first, it looked like I had indeed made a smart decision. Within 2 years, my company was in the top 20, and eventually, we became the 5th largest solar energy company in America. I was thrilled. I was on top of the world. What I did not yet know was that nothing ever stays the same. Everything is in motion. Everything changes. Times changed, tax laws changed, our industry was hit hard. Before I knew what was happening, I had lost everything, gone back to zero and below, owing more money than I thought I could ever even hope to make again. The lesson. The night my car was towed away, I sat in despair and thought, this just isn't fair. Here I am, after 12 long years of building towards success, at the bottom again. I'm more broke today than when I was Gorgeous George on the beach. 12 years of blood and guts and I was more of a failure than ever. I couldn't wrap my head around it. I couldn't see the logic, the justice, the reasons for any of it. Was life just inherently unfair? Was that it? Was there simply no rhyme or reason for anything? Was there no point in even trying? That was when I began to examine more carefully what had happened in my life. I'd been a college dropout, a beach bum, and a complete financial failure. Also, I'd been a straight-A student, a top corporate salesperson, a super-achieving entrepreneur in a cutting-edge industry, and a complete financial success. And all of those had been the same person. So what was the difference? It made no sense. Or did it? For the first time, I began to see that over the years of my roller coaster career, I had gone through a rich sequence of experiences that held the secrets to success as well as to failure. I had proven to myself, beyond any shadow of a doubt, the depths of failure that simple daily errors in judgment could produce. I had also seen what simple daily disciplines could accomplish. I just hadn't quite realized what I knew. It was time to pull away the veil of circumstance and look right at the heart of the matter. To go behind the results and examine the actions, and behind the actions to find the attitudes, and behind the attitudes to discover the thinking that held them there. That was when I began to discover and explore the slight edge. Since that time, I have built some extraordinary businesses and earned more money than I ever dreamed of. I've experienced more joy and fulfillment within my family and other relationships than I knew was possible. I've also discovered new vistas in my own investment, in my own development, in terms of both health and learning. Perhaps most important than all of that is that I've built a philosophy that is grounded in reality, in the way things actually work, not on luck and the mystery of the quantum leap, but on the power of the water hyacinth. I could lose it all tomorrow. It's happened before. I'd survive. But there is something I cannot lose. And with that one thing, I could start from scratch with a penny and build it all back up again. That one thing is the slight edge. Where to go from here? Someday when I have the time, I'm going to. Someday when I have the money, I'm going to. Have you ever heard that said? Someday? It's a way we have of reinforcing the illusion that the future is safely far removed, that it doesn't really touch us. It's a lie. Not an intentional, willful deception, but a lie nonetheless. Someday is not a vision of my future. Someday is a fantasy, nothing more. Here's the damage we do with this illusion. We give weight to our someday fantasies. We squeeze some sense of enjoyment from them as if they were real, and thereby give ourselves permission to take no practical action whatsoever while we swim in the comforting sense that those someday scenarios will move closer to the unfolding present on their own. They won't. You've got to go claim them. Ask yourself, what is there in my life that I hold as someday? Do one simple daily discipline in each of these 5 key areas of your life. Your health, your personal development, your relationships, which includes family, your finances, and your life overall, which includes the meaning and purpose of your life, that forwards your success in each of those areas. Make a habit of doing some sort of daily review of these slight edge activities, either through keeping a journal, a list, working with a slight edge buddy, a coach, or some other regular, consistent means. Spend high-quality time with men and women who have achieved goals and dreams similar to yours. In other words, model successful mentors, teachers, gurus, masters, and allies, and do it daily, weekly, and monthly, and you'll find yourself on the success curve, and you will turn your dreams into realities. Successful people put the slight edge to work for them rather than against them every day. They refuse to let themselves be swayed by their feelings, moods, or attitudes. They rule their lives by their philosophies and do what it takes to get the job done, whether they feel like it or not. Successful people don't look for shortcuts, nor do they hope for the big breakthrough. They are always open to quantum leaps, knowing that such opportune moments do present themselves from time to time, but they focus on doing what they've put in front of themselves to do. They step onto the path of mastery, and once having set foot there, they stay on that path throughout their lives. Successful people never blame circumstances or other people. Instead, they take full responsibility for their lives. They use the past as a lesson, but do not dwell in it, and instead let themselves be pulled up and forward by the compelling force of the future. Successful people use inertia to build momentum, making their upward journey of success easier and easier.